Guys, welcome back.
Here we are.
All right. So the premise for this episode is the resentment that builds when help only shows up after you ask for it, and why having to ask is really the part that is the where. It's not asking for the help. It's having to ask.
I mean, I think women really expect everybody to know the 18 things that we need in our head. This goes back to the mental load that we're carrying. However, there are just some obvious things. I honestly think of your example of going through the airline security line.
What happened?
I don't know. You were doing everything.
Oh, when I made the complaint to TSA?
Yeah, well, you were doing everything and nobody was helping you.
I was solo. Sam was in a different line, which that really wasn't so much the issue as much as it was the TSA worker that I wanted to. I filed a complaint. If you haven't listened to the episode of where we unpack that, feel free to go back in the archives.
I mean, that's a complete stranger. And you're like, this seems obvious that I need help. So like you go back to it being your spouse, a friend, a parent, like a family member. Like there are some times where it's like, I don't understand why I have to ask for this.
I think it's more so about, it's not the actual task. It's that we had to bring it up, that we had to say, hey, could you help me with folding the stroller down to put it into the freaking security machine? Or carrying 18 different things and then your child's clinging at your leg being like, pick me up. Is anyone around here other than me?
I'm trying to think of a recent example because I'm sure that I have one. Like sometimes what I'll do, and this is on me and my communication, but sometimes I'll be like, XYZ needs to be done. And sometimes what I get in response is a suggestion of how it could be done, or kind of an acknowledgement of like, thanks for thinking of that. It's like, no, I'm bringing this up because I'm basically saying, I'm opening the door for an opportunity for you to step in and be the helper. And you're not reading that.
But where do you think it stems from that we don't want to ask for help? Because I don't think
that is. I don't think it's that. You think it's not wanting to ask for help? I mean,
we lived a lot of our life where we should have asked for help. Okay, I'm just going to give the data points. We lived a lot of our life where we should have been raising the flag.
Yeah, we weren't ready. We weren't ready then. We weren't ready for the help. We were still thinking we were having fun, There's
Sure about that. I think there was pretty much a moment on a daily basis that I was like, this is no longer fun. I should probably ask for help.
Yeah, there was a block there because I will say that, yes, there were a lot of times I should have asked for help. And a lot of that time asking for help was not even on the menu of options available for the day. That was not one of the things that I thought of.
I agree. But I think that what happens, at least for me, really thinking about this and teasing it out in real time, honestly, I'm just drawing this connection, is that so much of my identity has been based in figuring it out. So I don't think it's necessarily that we didn't know how to ask for help, but it was like this concrete attitude that like, we're just going to figure it out. We're going to hustle it out. We're going to figure it out. We're going to figure it out when we get there. We're going to pick up the pieces if they fall. Like there was this whole general theme around, I got myself in this problem. I'm going to get myself out. So fast forward to being a more healthy version of ourselves. Part of it is, for me, part of it is that I can do it all kind of attitude. Part of it is if I ask for help, I think I need to be cognizant of how the delivery goes. Because sometimes the delivery for help is like, I'm already at my max. I'm already so frustrated that when I go to ask for help, it may not land. It may not land.
This really goes back to being the project manager though, because, and carrying the invisible load, because what I think happens is, for me at least, I don't know that I need help until I'm past the point of the optimal time to ask for help.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
So what happens is there's two ways this shows up, and it shows up a little bit differently at work with my work wife or my work husband, because I have two separate depending on what business I'm operating in. I will say that I because sometimes I create these problems at work. Sometimes it's just yeah, let's just see what happens. Well, that creates some chaos for other people sometimes, including myself. And so then what happens is when I feel like I have to ask for help, I don't know what the help is. So then it's not just that I don't know what I'm asking for. So sometimes it's like, hey, like, I can't figure this out. Kind of, I need you to. Or sometimes I'm like breadcrumbing the fact that I'm struggling with something. And I want them to like offer a solution because maybe I can't see it. Sometimes when we're so deep, especially at work for me, when I'm so deep in a problem, I can't sometimes see what the solution is. And I think that to me is the parallel to my active using days because I've been to rehab. To me, it's like, well, that didn't work. So, like, that's not a solution. Like, I didn't know what the solution was, I didn't know how to fix it. So, I think
Mm.
that's kind of the parallel. But at home with my husband, I expect him to just know what to do. Like, it's definitely a different level of now I do ask for a lot of help though, I think. And I do think he is much better at anticipating my needs than I'll throw out 90% of husbands. I mean, he does a lot, but there are some weeks where I'm like, I don't know, you didn't consider that this was like a thing we needed to figure out. I thought that was obvious, but I guess not. And
But
like
I think
that's when I have to watch my tone as well because it can come across like, are you a fucking idiot? Because I don't understand how we're not aligned on how this needed to be figured out.
I really do believe at my core that it's not so much the idea of the help, right? So, like splitting a task or saying, like, hey, I need help with this, or can you like run out and do this or whatever. I think it's at times the collaboration of the task because what I'm trying
Yes.
to do, okay, we're on to something. And thank you, Taylor, for keeping us on track. I think that there is this situation where I'm still trying to orchestrate the task and arrange the task and also give my 2 cents about the task
Okay. That's a separate
just
problem.
rather than just handing it over and saying, okay, just like take it and run with it.
Well, this also disempowers Sam because he doesn't want to fucking do it when then you're in his ear telling him how he's doing it wrong.
Well, it's also, and it's not just him, right? So, like, how do I do that at work? How do I, there is this, has to be this really intentional trust.
And handing it off. Sometimes when I hand tasks off, I know that it's not going to get done the way I would prefer it's done. But that's where the whole mantra of like done is better than perfect. Like
Oh, that's a good one.
done is better than perfect and we're just going to move on. Where I was going when you were saying that whole thing is in today's example, I did ask for help. I said, I need you to figure out who's taking care of the dog while we're on vacation. I need that to happen. Now you're in a thought process with me about the people that could potentially I actually don't want to be in this thought process. I don't want to
Okay, I
know
have
who
a good
can't.
example of
I
that
don't
too.
want to know who. I just want you to report back with when it's done. That's all I need to know. I mean, really.
But okay, let's talk about the dinner topic. Okay. Everyone can relate at base to the dinner topic. Okay.
Every week what we're having for dinner every fucking day. Every day we have to feed ourselves. We have to feed the kids every day. Why am I the only one planning what we're eating every day? Because it requires a certain level of planning.
And brain power. And so then I'll say, okay, what do you want to have for dinner?
Oh, I can't stand it.
This is how it'll go. I don't know. What do you want for dinner? I don't want to think about it.
Yeah.
That's why I said, so maybe I need to reframe how it, guys, please write in with your tips and tricks. Maybe I need to say, I am not capable of thinking about dinner for the next 18 years of these children's lives.
For real.
Every day. Let's do the math. How many days is that? Because it's going to
It's a
overwhelm me.
lot. It's a lot. I mean, they'll stop eating at home with you at some point in their teenagers anyway.
I don't know if they will. I don't know if they will. That's 6,570 days. Okay. So that is not
Daunting.
really
Daunting.
acceptable for me.
It's not going to work.
So we need to rework how we're saying it. And maybe I need to be proactive on days that are not my responsibility. Maybe that's a way. We don't know. We're going to tease that out.
Well, how that shows up in my house is my husband will say, "Well, I'll just do the grocery shopping this week." Great. We love that. We love that. We love that energy.
But you got to provide a
What are
list.
we having for dinner? I'm just curious what the dinner plans are because that's what the shopping is based on the dinner plans. Is it not?
Yeah, it
If you're
is.
going just oh no, I didn't think about that. We'll figure that out later. How are we figuring that out?
But
That
they
that
but they
stresses me out. What do you
Me
mean we're
too.
figuring it out later?
But should we just maybe shoot our shot? Maybe we need to do maybe we need to do some exposure
Or just
and
do what I do and order meal plans and I have prepared meals that are delivered to
or
my
your
house.
backup. But maybe just see what happens. Maybe we would be pleasantly surprised about what comes back in the cart. You don't know.
I mean, there have been weeks where he'll be like, I'll just figure it out. And then you have to, again, going back to done's better than perfect. You can't have an opinion. Well, I don't want that for dinner. No, that's not how this goes. Like today, my kids are old enough. Your kids are a little bit younger. My kids are old enough. We have the family group text. The text went out this morning. I am going shopping today. If you have any requests for breakfast, lunch, dinner, or your camp snacks for next week, now is the time. Now is the time to put the order in because later on Monday, when you say, this isn't what I wanted for a snack, I'm going to remind you of this moment today that you were requested for your input and you chose not to because you wanted to watch a fishing video or do nails or whatever you wanted to do on your first day of summer. I don't hate on it, but you made a choice. That's gonna go.
Okay, so help is the wrong frame. Help means it's still yours and they're assisting, right? Okay, so this is what we're talking about. The goal is handing over ownership, not getting a hand.
Yes, you're not my assistant. We are a partnership. This is equal. Now, every day we're not maybe 50-50, but like, yeah, I just think that then I think the resentment comes in if you're not addressing it. Like, I feel like, and not just because of this podcast, I just feel like in general, I've had so many conversations over the years, especially with expanding my work life, like expanding
Mhm.
into a second really big business and staff and everything. Like, we really had to have conversations around what that help looks like. And it requires being very consistent and also specific with your communication. And again, I can't not tie this back to the mental load. The things that we're thinking about and just have taken care of, like I I I don't know. I think whoever the primary parent is that brings the babies to the doctor's appointments and does all that, I feel like you just assume this natural role into the forms, the kids' forms, the school enrollment, all those things. And then that becomes your mental load. And I think sometimes we don't share what that is. And then at a certain point, we get to this breaking point where we're like, why do I have to do this all? It's like, because no one knew that you were doing these things. Like sometimes that's what happens too. And that's just one example of the thing that you're holding. But I
But
think we're
also,
not
I think it's the
communicating.
tally. It's the tally. And so, even in the workplace, I'll say, kind of shifting away from family units, but even in your work unit, keeping tally of you didn't ask to leave early and now you're resentful that the person left early, or this person's taking on more of a workload, or you feel like you're taking on more of a workload, but you're not asking for help from any of your colleagues, or whatever that rat race is. And so now there's like this tally, this like unspoken tally. Actually, Michelle Obama does a really great clip on this whole thing and talks about it in her book. But that there's this silent tally that's going on. And if
Oh yeah.
you're
You're
going to get in
keeping
trouble,
score.
you're
You're keeping
going to get
score.
in trouble. It is going to create more divide than it is connection. And it's going to create more divide than it is the ability to trust and ask for help, essentially.
Yes.
So
Actually, this happened to me recently at work. And it was my own fault. I kept I kept complaining about this role and this task that I have been holding since we opened. And we've talked about this. When you open a business, you're straddling roles and you're like the jack of all trades when you open up a business because you have your
yes.
hands in everything.
Yes.
We've gotten to the point where I don't need to be doing this role, but I kept saying something like, I don't want to be doing this anymore. I don't want to be doing this anymore. and nobody was kind of like reflecting back to me what the solution was, right? Meanwhile, I have this consultant like helping me with some of this task, and all of a sudden one day, like this is recent, within the last month, I was like, "Oh, I'm not doing this anymore." Like starting today, like I'm just not doing this anymore. And this other person who this is what they do for a living, they're going to do it going forward. And after I did that, this huge weight lifted, but in the midst of like the last couple of months, it was like I was getting resentful that nobody was acknowledging what a pain in the ass this was.
But
Eh,
I do
But it's
think
like,
right.
but it's like, but they wouldn't know. Like, yeah, I'm complaining about it, but like, I don't know. How would they know the solution if I'm the one that's doing it?
But I think we're also both in a really nice position to say, I don't really think I want to work with this person anymore, or I don't really think I want to be holding this job responsibility, right? Like I do think that there is flexibility there, and the thing that stands in the way of flexibility is ego and pride. Period. Mic drop on that. Okay.
Got to check the ego and the pride at the door. You know what I'm thinking of right now is that it's so weird, and I can't recite it, so don't ask me to. But the prayer, the Francis Assisi prayer, is that what it's called?
Yeah. The St. Francis prayer.
The Saint Francis prayer, like that just keeps coming up to me of like, basically do the opposite of what like we're saying. It's like, uh,
Make me an instrument of your peace. I pulled it up. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is
yes.
injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, bring faith. Where there is despair, bring hope. Where there is darkness, bring light. Where there is sadness, bring joy.
I don't know. For some reason, it's just like where there's pride and ego, bring some humility. We
Mhm.
need to bring some humility in.
And
Um,
to really, bring some humility in, we have created a nice rapid fire for this episode, which I
oh
think is going
boy.
to humble us really quick because it looks pretty intense. So, guys, rapid fire is fun. We'll each ask a question. There's quite a few, so I feel like one each, and we'll see what we come up with. But I would encourage you, if you're listening, to also answer the rapid fire question yourself.
Yes.
Okay. The last thing you had to ask for that you wish you hadn't had to.
Forgiveness.
Nice. That's amazing. We're gonna do a timer. No more than 5 seconds. That's the point of a rapid fire. You can't be thinking
I
on it.
was within two
I know you were
seconds.
good. I'm holding myself accountable. Go.
I shouldn't have to ask for this. Fill in the blank.
Help with grocery shopping. How many times do you ask before you just do it yourself?
Probably 1.5.
Me too. I was gonna say one immediate.
I mean, especially depending on what it is.
The ask you've rehearsed in your head and never said out loud.
Wait, it's my turn.
Oh,
Uh, the ask
that's
you've
okay. Read it
rehearsed,
back.
the ask you've rehearsed in your head and never said out loud.
I feel like I say them all out loud, honestly. I don't feel like I don't ask. Asking for help feels like
A burden sometimes.
that body movement said it all. Like the ick.
The ick. Feels like the ick sometimes. Like, dude, especially when it's something you should just know to do.
Right? So good.
My work wife is on point, though. I'll tell you that. She's always anticipating the needs. That's
Because
what we
she's a
need.
woman.
Oh, thank you. Last time you got thanked for something you only did because no one else would.
Oh, cooking dinner? I don't know. Probably cooking dinner.
No one else is doing that.
No one. A sure just ask me that never actually meant it.
I do that with work a lot. I'll be like, yeah, sure. Just call me. We'll tease that out. And then when they follow up, I'm like, that was.
I don't really want to do that. Okay. You're
You
up.
asked, they did it, and you were still mad. Why?
Because it wasn't done in the way that I thought it should be done. I mean, this is everything we're talking about, okay? When I, give explicit instructions to, support a process or support a transition or in my work life or in my personal life or whatever it is. And it looks botched, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the favor you asked for that you ended up managing anyway.
The kids' camps forms. They are still at the doctor's office waiting to be picked up because they required multiple steps. I gave them to them immediately that day. The doctor's office is going to call you. They have questions about the forms. I'm not really sure what. am I the only one that can answer these questions? It was the wrong form. Then I had to go fill out the other form, and now they're still there.
Yep. They might make it. They're probably closed today to go because it's a holiday. Um,
Better to ask or seethe quietly.
better to ask. One thing you've stopped asking
Depends
for
on the spiritual fitness of the day, to be honest with you. Some days we might want to just keep our mouth shut and keep it moving.
oh my
That
goodness.
that may be for both of us.
So true. One thing you've stopped asking for entirely, permission. I got it for you.
Permission, definitely. Somebody said, can I just tell the story? Last night we're at dinner and somebody said to my son, who's 8, no permission necessary. And like, I don't know, maybe he knows that's the name of the podcast that I'm on, maybe not. And he goes, that just means I get to do whatever I want, right?
Oh,
Everyone looked at me. Yep, that is exactly what it means. That's what mommy tries to embody every
oh
day.
gosh. Guys, thanks for a great episode. I don't know. I feel like you can be grateful and resentful at the same time, somehow, some way.
Absolutely.
But, you know, we gotta really open up the floodgates, be able to ask for help, be able to let it lie in the way that it's done by the other person. It's something that is an ever growing process for Jill and I. So, permission to ask for help and not try to control the outcome. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Tuesday. Until next time, tune in and get excited. We're going to be shaking things up here a little bit towards the end of summer for no permission necessary. We value you, we appreciate you, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.